All right, we have at this time the Director General of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, Olawale Musa, joining us on the phone from the scene of the fire incident that occurred on Otedola Bridge at about 17:30 hours on Thursday. Hello, Mr. Olawale. What can you tell us about the situation over there right now?
Yeah, the area is very calm now. We temporarily closed the road, that is a battle bound, to allow for the evacuation of the pond vehicles. But everybody's on ground. We're about to open it again so our vehicles can move before we completely evacuate all the vehicles there.
Are you telling us that the integrity of that bridge has not been affected in some way?
Luckily, it was just before the bridge, so
okay.
It didn't really affect the bridge at all.
All right, have the burnt vehicles been evacuated?
Yeah, that's what we are doing now.
And how long will that take?
I think in the next hour it should be completed.
Can you give us a picture of what traffic situation is like right there now?
Yeah, like I said, we closed the battle-bound traffic. So we just open it temporarily now to allow for vehicles to move before we continue the evacuation.
We've heard from authorities that that road users should use alternative routes. Do you want to refresh our minds as to which routes that people can take just in case?
Right now, because we are just closing the road temporarily, I don't think if people just have patience, I don't think there's any need. But if you are in a hurry, it's better you pass through Latif Dakole Road or Saga. That's a battle bound. And popped out at Paga. But right now we've opened the road temporarily, so it's going to be free in the next few minutes. And
will your officers be stationed there to assist maybe FRSC officials as well to direct traffic after you open up that route?
The FRSC, Lasema is still on ground, fire service, everybody's on ground.
Nigerians are still wondering exactly what caused this incident. So many versions.
You just hold on for the GM Lasema.
Okay.
So we give you the details. Hold on, please.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you very much for handing us over to him. Yes, good morning, GM Lasema.
Good morning.
Yes, please give us exactly what caused this unfortunate accident in Lagos.
Well, for us, there was a tanker laden with 60,000 liters of petrol, which was climbing the Otedola Bridge inward Berger. The vehicle lost control, skidded off the road and landed on its side, spilling all of its contents on the road, rolling back towards the Otedola Bridge. And of course, a lot of vehicles were behind it. And at that time, it caught fire. And 54 vehicles were caught up in that inferno, completely burnt. We recovered 9 dead bodies. 4 people escaped, but with some multiple burns, injury. They've been taken to the hospital. We have also, opened up the road for vehicular movement, but what we are doing now is to take away the carcass of the burnt-built vehicles off the road. That's what we are doing now. We are almost 90% gone. I'm sure the next trip by our flatbed will move everything out of the road now, and then we will now allow police to do their investigation.
All right, what was the response time of your agency alongside other rescue operatives?
If you remember that we have an office in Alausa here, so our response time was perfect. But we are combating an inferno, heavy magnitude. So a lot of the road towards this place was completely locked down. So some of our equipment that were coming in triples. We don't have free road to walk. But at least we were lucky. We can also maneuver and drive on one way to get in here, and that was why we were able to limit it to the number of vehicles that we have here. That's what we did yesterday.
I wonder if the GM Lasema is still with you, Olawale Musa, because this question really should be directed at him as to the roadworthiness of these trucks. And beyond that, there was a directive from the Lagos State government about a year or so ago that these trucks, articulated vehicles, tanker-laden vehicles, should not be on the road at specific times. Why do they still continue to drive and not, without let or hindrance?
Well, I will allow Wale Musa, who controls traffic and monitor all of this.
Yes.
Musa is there. Hold on for him.
Thank you very much.
Hello?
Yes. My question as to why these vehicles still ply our roads at a time when the Lagos State government gave an order or a law, if you like, that they should not be on the road at least during the daytime, that they can start moving at night. Why are they still on the roads?
No, fuel tankers are exempted because of their peculiarity. They are not part of that ban. They are exempted because of their peculiarity.
And is that situation going to remain? Will they continue to be exempted, or is it something that government would look at?
What happened now could have happened at any time. It could have been in the night. So the one that happened in Yanokwaja happened in the night, and there are several shop burns, people died. So it could have happened at any time.
All right, could you please hand over the phone to the GM of Lasema? We have a question for him.
I just left to escort one of the vehicles down now.
Oh, all right. Okay, then let's just, on a final note, ask you how soon the place will be opened up, and then what is expected so far?
We have opened it up now, temporarily, so traffic is easing. Okay, so in the next hour, we will close it down again to complete the evacuation.
Okay.
All right. The voice of Olawale Musa there, LASMA General Manager, talking to us. And of course, we had additional Tiamiyu, who's the Lasema GM, also speaking with us to give us a situation report. We expect to hear from our correspondent, Sarah Yeku, who should be joining us anytime soon, to give us her own perspective of what exactly is going on there.
I would have loved really to ask about the condition of those taken to the hospital.
To the hospital, Kehinde-Nwandu, you have heard from the men themselves. He said tankers are exempt from, you know, this directive.
Yeah, well,
what do we do next?
He said due to the nature of what they do, we call it essential services and the rest of them. But I believe that they should be restricted. I still believe that they can be restricted. Okay, they have all the night to be able to do what they want to do. Restriction is not, we're not restricting them from all the roads. We're talking of just within the Lagos, as because of the peculiarity of the nature of the traffic nature in Lagos. Okay, and so if we can have specific time for them to move these products and the rest of them, and it's for me, it's much easier.
It seems that everything works in pari passu, kind of, if we put it in that perspective, because Nigeria is a country where infrastructural development is just creeping in gradually, and the rail system isn't functioning optimally. If you compare Nigeria to a small country like Rwanda, there are routes specifically for articulated vehicles, for tankers. They are not expected to ply on normal routes for cars and other vehicles, really. But for you to even say that in Nigeria, it's another kettle of fish.
It's another
so
kettle
what kind
of
of things should be put in place then?
As I said, you know, part of the problem, apart from centralizing the depots around Lagos and the rest of them, is that we lost our pipelines. Okay, we lost our pipelines, and we have all blown up and the rest of them. Normally, in the past, what we do is that we channel most of those products through the pipelines. So to supplies and Kaduna, Port Harcourt, most of these areas. So we didn't have this number of trucks coming into Lagos. Okay. Then secondly, also is because we are now an import-based country. Before we had our refineries, we were importing maybe close to about 30% of what we needed. Okay, then produce about 70%. We have Kaduna, we have Port Harcourt, we have Warri refineries. They were working optimally. So most of these trucks don't come to Lagos. All they do is go to those various places, pick up the products, and just...
That in itself shows you how failure in one sector affects... It's like
it's a chain. It's a chain. It's a chain. So once it affects one particular sector, it affects the others. So what happens now is that now so much pressure is now put on the roads. Now everything passes through the roads. That's why you see an average of not less than I had about close to 2,000 trucks coming to Lagos every day to leave products and out. Because we have to, they come here because they are discharged. And apart from that also,
for weeks before they leave.
Then apart from that, then our ports, other ports are not even working optimally. The one in Warri, the one in Port Harcourt,
and then
they're not working.
Why?
Because most of these products could have been channeled to be discharged in some of these ports instead of bringing everything to Lagos. So those are the issues. So
so how do we now make I mean, the best out of a bad situation? It is the way it is right now. You know, there's an anomaly that I don't know if you've observed this. there should be some kind of driving ethics on the road.
Yeah.
You find that trucks, tankers and what have you actually drive on the fast lane, while cars move on the slow lane.
You're talking about driving ethics in
Drive,
Nigeria.
thank you. Is anybody educating them first of that tankers, heavy trucks should be on a
When
side?
some of them intentionally intimidate other cars.
And the speed with which they drive
we should
sometimes.
ask ourselves, how well trained our drivers, most of those that drive this thing, not only the tankers now, there are some companies also that those that are into cement. I don't want to start calling names. Those that
even private drivers. How many of them know even?
How many of them went to driving school? Most of these guys that even drive this. If you see the age of some of these young guys that drive, there was one I saw one. I was shocked. I don't think that guy was more than 18 to 19. He's already driving a very long time. Then also the issue of alcohol.
Thank you. You just took it right out of my
alcohol
mouth.
And drugs.
And drugs.
These guys go on drugs to be able to do what they are doing. You know, some time ago we discussed drugs here.
Yeah.
And most of these young guys, the tramadol and the so-called this thing, these guys take these drugs. So when they are there, the sisters themselves are the demigods, and they look at every other car. The way they drive and the way they shove around the smaller cars and look at the roads. How wide are our roads? By the time you have a truck on a road, I don't think you have more than 2 other lanes to be able to maneuver. And they keep
under former governor of former Lagos governor Fashola. I remember then he talked about sending drivers, commercial drivers to psychological, mental test or something before they could apply Lagos roads.
Even the road safety,
but nothing came out of it.
Even the road safety also came up with that at one time that they are going to, if you have this thing, they will take you. But the problem has always been enforcement. By the time you start enforcing, some people bring some political undertone to it. Oh, these tanker drivers are from one particular section of the country. You want to do this, you want to do that. Is a problem that I think what we need to do is the Federal Road Safety, the Nigeria Police, all the security agents need to sit down and be able to come up with a position on this. Okay? Then the Federal Ministry of Works, all the state government, especially the states where most of these articulated trusts come, need to sit down and find out a solution to this. Because this way, you can be rest assured that this will still happen. Okay?
In addition to that, the roads are not necessarily in the best of conditions. I mean, from that Otedola, I mean, I ply that road every day. I can't even count the number of calls I received yesterday from people who just wanted to be sure that I was okay. Thankfully, I wasn't on the road at that time.
Thank God.
Thankfully.
Thank God. Thank God.
The undulating road, it's, I mean, you even for normal cars, it's difficult to ply those roads. How much more tankers and what have you?
Let us even take it further. When you look at the economic cost to what happened yesterday, you'll be shocked. In a country where most of us, quote unquote, don't have insurance.
You just nailed it. You just nailed it.
You understand what I'm
saying?
Where most of us don't have insurance.
No insurance for the cars. Not for the human beings. Not for the roads.
I heard about one of the victims. I think the man got burnt. That when they told him that the tanker busted and was already engulfed in fire, that they told him to leave his car and run for his life. But the guy was trying to maneuver
again
because
he knows that is the only means of livelihood.
So
it is that just so those vehicles, they can be rest assured that close to 99.9% of all those vehicles that they don't have insurance cover, so they are gone. Most of their owners might not be able to get another car again. Okay, then that is why just as you said, somebody that has just one car and this is one his man, he will try his best to see if he can maneuver the vehicle out of the road because that's the only thing he has. At that point, even to the cost to his life. So we have a lot to do. I also realize that because of the nature of the economy, there are a lot of people patching and struggling. Not only the tankers, look at even the vehicles we drive. Ask yourself, when did you buy a brand new tire?
Exactly.
Most people cannot afford it.
Many don't know that tires have lifespan.
You know what? We were having a discussion just a few weeks ago, actually, and it turned out that many of us, our parents, didn't know anything called Tokumbo vehicles because they all bought brand new vehicles.
But
do you know what? I'm sure the chances are that of the three of us here,
Yes.
none has ever bought a brand new car.
Yes, it's true. It's true. It's a fact.
It's the reality.
You know, it's a reality.
It's a sad reality.
How much are our salaries? How much are we earning? How much are we making?
And it's when you're well fed that you think about
we have
insuring
to
your
feed,
car.
we have to clothe, we have to do that before. So it's a very big. We just pray that things get
And we've
better.
been told that Nigeria now has officially the highest number of people living below the poverty line.
We've taken over from
We've
India.
taken over
Poverty
from
headquarters
We've
of
taken
the
over from
world.
India. We've taken over from India, but our government said it's a lie.
Yeah, that we shouldn't pay it any
Just-
mind.
no, it was just
That the basis of their conclusion actually had to do with the recession. That they must have come up with that, you know,
During the recession
yeah,
period.
during
So
the
the person that
recession
did it,
period.
didn't
not
put in the
has not
present-
factored in the fact that we are
Absolutely.
out of recessions. But somebody asked, what kind of situation is that? That a nation is out of recession, but the people are in recession.
Recall there
Are
was
we
a
out of
report.
recession?
There was a report about Nigerians getting poorer.
Are we out of recession?
And if you marry that with this present
individually,
report.
has that translated to what we have on our table?
Bread and butter.
Are we eating better now? Are we getting has the salaries
Has your
increased?
purchasing power-
Have we
purchasing
been
power
empowered
increased?
financially? The government may be out of recession. I am not out of recession.
So how do
Nigerians are not out of
you
recession.
fight corruption in this kind of situation where a man who goes to work doesn't have the guarantee that when his child falls sick, that there's a decent hospital to take that child to,
Yeah,
and that there's a decent school. I'm saying decent,
Yes.
not
Not-
highbrow.
Decent.
Decent school. The roads are manageable. Okay, with my salary, I can take a percentage of my salary to pay for that, you know, a higher purchase for a car.
Yeah.
Those are not there.
I can.
Where do you even begin to fight this corruption
That
from?
is a problem. First of all, you have to know that everybody is a local government to himself now.
There you go.
A government to itself. I provide my power. I provide my water. Even within my enclosure where we have a community development, this thing, I most of the time tar the road. I collect my refuse. I practically do everything. At the end of it, the government will still come and say, pay tenement rates, pay for this, pay for that, and the rest of them. At the end of it, the power authorities will be giving outrageous bills.
I know
even when they are not
I
providing
know
you
a
with
road
power.
around
And
the
in
Ojota
essence-
area
Yes.
where it is the residents that are
The
actually contributing money to
And
fix the roads.
It is not.
That's no
It's
news.
been gradual. It's been
That's no
gradual
news.
thing.
Many Nigerians do
Yeah,
that.
no,
Do you know
unfortunately,
the
it's
most
no
annoying
news.
part of it? Let's even
Yeah.
talk of power. We'll provide the
And
ask
then
us to
some get
contribute.
arrested for doing
They will
it.
ask
Oh,
us to
yeah.
they will ask us to contribute money to buy our transformer. We
then
buy.
you have to cede it to
and then
them.
we cede it, then power
Else
authority
they
will now
won't
come and
power-
take it
power
and
the
now start
transformer
charging
for
us
you.
on it.
True.
So it's a total breakdown of infrastructure system.
But then-
the system is totally breakdown.
And then this incident that occurred yesterday. So issues that should be looked into, like we talked about earlier, life insurance, life assurance, compensation. So many other issues really, but then where do you even start from? Is it not
Where
when,
do you
according to
start from?
Nigerians, when you belly full,
Yes,
that you
now.
think about other things?
Yes, now what we need to, I think there's a system, a failure of government. I still continue to take it back to government. There's a failure of government. If you see the number of unemployed youths, you know that we are sitting on a time bomb in Nigeria, a big time bomb. Every day you see young graduates. We are not even talking of those that you see people with first class
Oh, yeah.
degree, we see people with second class, upper. In those days, once you have first class, it's given that
Automatic.
I mean, it's automatic.
for those of us that had to let my people go, and we knew they were going to struggle. The two of those days, I would say, oh, when you see your mates are getting two, when you have a two,
But you know what? The majority of let my people
That
go
is what
are
I'm-
the ones
no,
who are
no,
governing,
no,
you
that's
know,
where
who
I'm-
are deciding the destiny
that is
of.
where I'm going. I
Yeah.
wanted to go to.
Okay.
You know what that was? Because they mixed academics with other things while in school. Okay, they passed through the university, and the university passed through them. Some of those, the so-called first class or whatever, those are people that sat down, no social lives. I may be wrong, but they practically have been able to position themselves and be able to read to what them. When they come out, they find it very, very difficult to go through the rigors of life that some of us do. You understand what I mean? So you now see that the so-called
Let my people go
are the ones that get the opportunity to get all the juicy jobs, either politically, otherwise, and determine the future of this Oko one is a problem. Now, what we need to do, where do we even start with? Just as asked, education system totally collapsed. Health system totally collapsed. Welfare totally collapsed. When you go on the road, you cannot even be sure. Security, you are not even sure that if you go out in the morning, that you come back alive.
Safely.
It is that cheap now. We're now counting numbers. Oh, 200 people were killed in Jos. It doesn't make any difference to people again.
And that's
it doesn't even make any difference.
That's why somehow you would hear some officials in the country saying that just one or just two.
That is what I'm saying. Somebody, a senior security officer, will just say, no, it wasn't 50 people that were killed in Jos. It was just about 32. And I say just 32, may God save us.
Yes, and that's exactly what the refrain was all through the social media yesterday. People were, like President Buhari actually said, we need to pray. We need to pray.
We've been praying.
Is there any country that has been praying as
more than Nigerians?
Let me tell
Maybe
you,
we need to add to our prayers.
Ngozi,
yes.
Nigeria has the highest number of churches and mosques across the globe.
Pastors.
In your streets, I can tell you, as you are driving out, every other building has a church there. We have the highest number of pastors.
Every 5 minutes drive, you see a church.
5 minutes. I say street, I say you walk. In my own street, as I'm living,
or a mosque that will wake you up at 5 in the morning.
Is a mosque and the rest of them we are very religious people, quote and unquote. But how do we really practice what we preach? That is the problem. Do we really practice what we preach? We pray. We pray. If you say people go to vigil, practically vigil.
So what has happened to us as a people? What exactly has happened to us that we need to tackle it at that level?
Values.
Otherwise, we will continue to, just grope in the dark.
Values. Our values have changed. Our values. Everything now is about materialism. No matter how good, pleasant, fantastic you are, if you don't have money, nobody recognizes you. It's a fact.
And nobody cares how you get
the money.
Nobody
cares, and nobody cares how you get the money. You go to your village and you say,
yeah.
It's normal. They will tell you in my language. They will tell you if you never build it for village, you never started. And somebody will just coming from one of your brothers that about a month or 2 months ago went outside. He didn't know what he did, become with money, and they started worshiping him. So we have lost our values. Now it has become a country of what you have. People are now grabbing, not only for themselves, and grabbing for their great-grandchildren and our collective.
I realized how far gone we had gone, if you permit me.
Yes.
Years ago, when some of our top lecturers in university those days actually left the shores of this country to go do cleaning abroad.
Yes.
That was an indication.
Brain drain.
It wasn't that bad then.
Brain drain.
It is worse now.
It's worse now.
Yeah, before we continue, let's quickly talk to Sarah. Okay, it seems we lost connection with her.
We're expecting to speak with Sarah.
All right.
I've been thinking, can somebody just stop us from this discussion so that we can, talk about other things? But unfortunately, we cannot play the ostrich to hide our heads in the sand while and not talk about the elephants in the room.
Absolutely. And it's so sad, really, how almost every conversation right now, no matter the topic, no matter the incident, goes drive you back to the rot, the many rots, really, in the Nigerian system. We're talking about the accident on the Lagos Bridge, which somehow it brought about so many other sad issues right now in the country.
Yeah.
And then you think about, like most usually, sadly, it is when disasters happen that Nigerians start talking about what should have been given, what should have been there.
The sad part of it is that give this very incident another 3 days, we'll forget it.
Yeah.
And we'll continue, we'll move on. That has always been the problem. Now, those in authority will not sit down and say, this has been a problem. How do we solve this? Everybody moves on. Then waiting for the next news. The disasters and news about disasters doesn't last more than 72 hours.
This is only a symptom of a system that has gone wrong.
Yes. Yes, something came to mind while listening to the last map boss. Another problem we have is accessibility to disaster areas.
Disaster areas.
Once something happened, most agencies of government find it difficult to be able to access those areas because of so many challenges. And something came to mind, something I saw during my recent visit to the US. Irrespective of the level of traffic, there's a way they build some of their roads that there's a point you cannot cross as you're driving. Even when you have traffic, serious traffic.
Yeah.
Atlanta downtown has one of the worst traffic situations I've ever seen in my life. And New York. You need to go to New York. We are talking of we don't have traffic in Lagos.
It's child's play compared to...
It's a child's play. Go to New York and see what happens. That is madness.
Even China.
But even, I don't even want to go about China. I've not been to China before, but I'm talking about what's happening. You realize that they're able to build their roads in a way and manner that they give room for emergencies. Okay? If anything happens, there are areas, there are roads patterns that nobody covers, no vehicle, you won't see any vehicle, you won't see any bike and the rest of them. So that in case of emergency situations, vehicles and the rest of them, and ambulance and the rest of them will have opportunity of passing on here. That in itself saves a lot of things. It saves lives, it saves properties, it saves a lot.
Actions will be taken to forestall such reoccurrence remains to be seen. But because of time, we have to wrap it there. Chris Kehinde-Nwandu, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll move on now to